Hello and welcome back to the channel. Thanks again for everyone's support. It's just been amazing and incredible. I really appreciate it. I want to talk about my top 5 or so box buys, and I want to start off with one that I honestly did not think would make it onto this particular series ever, because it was something that exploded right out the gate and never went down. Let's just talk right out of the gate about Kamigawa Neon Dynasty collector boosters. These are some of my favorites of the last year or so. I think that it is really exciting to have a true chase card introduced back into Magic. These, if you recall, were pre-ordering at semi-normal prices, and then once we all found out about the chase card Hidetsugu, the prices of which are still really high, I'll throw some graphics on the screen here as we talk. These shot up to around $280. The fervor never died down, and there they sat. Now, given the abundance of expensive products out there, the inventory dumps that I think people are trying to do, these are down to $199. I love that. I never really got a chance to buy as much of this as I wanted at the time. I really, really love this particular product. They are also fun to open. I mean, the set itself, when you open a draft box, the variety of treatments and the card types and the mixes here and there, they've just done really well with this set in general. I love the collector box. At $199, I am buying these right now. I'm really happy with that price. They're on eBay. I think you can probably find them elsewhere, but that's where I see them right now, is on eBay. So if you haven't gotten a chance to start a position in Kamigawa Neon Dynasty collector boosters specifically, I honestly think now's the time. Is there a chance that they go slightly lower than that? There's a small one. I don't know why they would want to dip down much lower unless the entire Magic market just completely rejected and disregarded the Hidetsugu chase card in there. Remember that these are incredibly rare. There is a roughly like 0.7% chance when you're holding a pack in your hand. I'm going to show this when I talk about, actually, we're going to make a detour onto Commander Legends, but also to Streets of New Capenna here in a moment. These are really, really, really rare, these chase cards. The prices are high. The only reason I think these would go down any further than this, and I know I'm spending a lot of time on this particular box because it's just so remarkable that this has happened. The only way they go lower is if the entire Magic market just rejects the premise of the Hidetsugu chase card. Everybody collectively loses interest in it. I don't know how that is possible to happen. That would be a true phenomenon. I don't know that there's enough gravitas to get everybody to just reject that card or the idea of the chase card outright. So I love these at $199. If you have not had a chance to build a position in Neon Dynasty collector boxes, now is the time. Now's the window. I think that Double Masters 2022 created the perfect storm for that to happen. While we're on the topic of collector boxes, this is another one that I've been very vocal about. I really love Streets of New Capenna. It's no secret, if you've been following the channel, that I love multicolor themes. When I was younger, I called them gold cards, but multicolor Magic cards were one of the things that just visually really hooked me on the game back in its very, very early days in Legends. And I love any set that is focused on multicolor intentionally. So I loved Streets of New Capenna when it was announced. I really enjoy the draft experience. I love the product in general, but I also really love the card treatments that are going on in the collector box. The foil etched Planeswalkers, Ob Nixilis especially, at around $65 right now, those are commanding really decent prices to me for cards that are not, Ob Nixilis aside, they're not incredibly frequently played in standard right now, but they fetch relatively fair prices in the secondary market because of their exclusivity, their scarcity, their collectible frames, their treatments, etc. So that's a good sign. To me, that's the effect that these specialty treatments should have on cards. I love these boxes. These are $163 on eBay right now. To me, that's silly. I'm going to put a chart up on screen that I made here. I talked about this a long time ago when this set came out. What no one, I think, is taking into account here is that the gilded foil cards are rarer. Each individual card is rarer than all of the Hidetsugu chase cards that are available in the collector box. Take the yellow Hidetsugu out of the picture because that was an in-store giveaway. But if you take the blue, red, and the green Hidetsugu all together, you have about a 0.7-ish% chance when you're holding a pack in your hand of a Neon Dynasty collector booster of pulling that card out. When you're holding a collector booster of Streets of New Capenna in your hand, you have about a 0.52% chance of pulling a specific gilded foil. So a specific gilded foil card is more rare than the Hidetsugu chase cards that are fetching hundreds up to over $1,000 in Neon Dynasty. There's a disconnect here. There's a major disconnect. I've always felt like there was. I don't think that these boxes are valued anywhere near as much as they should be. The gilded foil cards command decent prices, but I just, again, don't think that the differentiation between those and their counterparts, their normal printings, was made really, really clear by Wizards, or really not cashed in on, but more capitalized on narratively by Wizards. So I love these boxes. I'm buying more right now at 163. I was really happy that they dipped. If you recall, I also pre-ordered these and said I'm going to hedge my bets here and say that they put chase cards in Streets of New Capenna and that the pre-order prices are, we'll be glad that we were able to pay $199. That did not happen. That was just a fun social experiment. But at 163, absolutely, I'm buying more of these within reason, because I also just genuinely like the set, and that's also important to me. Another set that I think is interesting. This is just a placeholder. All my set boosters for AFR, my cases are sealed. I want to keep them that way. So I have a stand-in, forgive me for today. This is a draft box, but the set booster box of AFR is $84 on eBay right now. I really like that price. There's a dragon that came out in the new Commander Legends set that is really cool. It's a Teamer Dragon. I've been building around that card for my Commander playgroup, and I think that set has also just boosted the popularity of dragons. Any set to me that has viable mythic dragons that are semi-chaseable is always a plus to me. Old Gnawbone in this set is going to forever be in the pantheon of just overpowered, pushed dragons. It's treasure themed. It's green. I mean, green gets everything right in Commander. I think that the value of this set long term is going to have almost kind of like a Midnight Hunt effect, where there are a couple chase mythics that just forever buoy the box. The only place to reprint those cards, like the Meat Hook Massacre, Old Gnawbone, is in like the list slot, which doesn't really do much in terms of putting more inventory out there, or in a Masters product, like a really high-end Masters product, kind of like the one we're seeing now. I wouldn't be surprised if Double Masters 2024 has the Meat Hook Massacre and Old Gnawbone in it, for instance. So at $84, if you kind of skipped AFR, but you realize in hindsight that there actually is some meat in that set, that's a pretty good entry point. I also just love set boosters for any of the kind of 2021 products and back where they were available. Here is another, I know I talk about every single video by default has Modern Horizons 2 in it. I know that's kind of a rule almost for me, because like I say, if you have no idea what to buy, you're turned off by everything. I think it's important to buy what you love, and if you don't actually love anything on the table here, again, we're going to come back to this. I just want to talk Commander Legends. Then Modern Horizons 2 to me is the best and safest place to put your money, and now they are still at $199. I think $198 even right now on eBay. There has never been a better time to buy this set. This is my favorite product of the last couple years, followed closely by a couple of other sets that, for a change, I'm actually not talking about today. This at $198 is something that I would tell anybody who's interested in buying and holding any form of Magic product at all to buy. I love Modern Horizons 2. What an incredible price. The last one I want to mention, though, is the original Jumpstart. So original Jumpstart is interesting because it's right now $83 on eBay. That is really killer. If you go to Dawnglare has an EV of $97 per box of Jumpstart. It's a very believable price point, even with the ding that Allosaurus Shepherd just took by being reprinted. That ding is not going to last for long. There's so much top end to Jumpstart that it's ridiculous. I love the product in general, and when it was printed, we couldn't quite understand where the price floor should be, so a lot of us were paying very high prices for this at launch. Don't let that price memory affect you here. Jumpstart has has a lot of value baked into it. And I also love this. I've said before, I think this is the perfect on-ramp product for new players. I always keep a couple boxes up on my shelf just in case, I need to pull them down, new player, etc. But the value that you might get if you were to crack the box is absolutely on par, if not higher than the $83, even if you just are looking for something to open. Sometimes I am, admittedly, I'll be perfectly honest with you, sometimes I'm just looking for something to open. Like I love Magic. I want to just open something. It doesn't feel great to open something that I paid more than it's worth, or I overpaid for at the time and the prices have kind of careened. Opening something I feel like I'm getting really good value for opening is always fun. So if I were to open a box of Jumpstart right now, I'd feel pretty great about it. I love that this is so cheap still. And one more important thing, Dominaria United is coming out, and with it is coming Jumpstart. Jumpstart is going to be in every set from now on. Remember that the original is 24 booster packs for $84. The new one coming out is 18 booster packs for what we think is $100. The value that you're going to feel like you're getting in the new iteration of Jumpstart versus the old is not going to be the same. They will not be the same at all. I think we will look back and say, oh my gosh, for the utility that I get out of Jumpstart, the new on-ramp product, I love the old versus the new for its value. I think that the value of this set is why I'm buying it, really. The utility is there, and I think that when we compare this to Dominaria coming up, we realize that this was actually severely underpriced at $83. I love buying this right now. I want to talk for just a moment about Commander Legends. Before I do, the only other thing I would bring up is just a reference to the distressed assets, right? I think it's fair to just kind of mention these each video. It is up to you at this point. If you haven't built a position in, Crimson Vow and AFR collectors, Call Time to a lesser extent, but Midnight Hunt, these boxes are always just floating around the kind of $150 mark. I think that there is going to be a certain point where that stops happening, where the inventory is just dried up enough, people have cleared them out, and then people actually want to go try and pull, like I keep saying, that foil Tiamat out of here, or they want to get that extended art foiled old Gnawbone or something else of the sort. They want to get the foil alternate frame Sorin Planeswalker out of here that's $100+. They want to get that extended art Meat Hook Massacre that's pushing $90 right now. Kaldheim is just a set that I love. I think that there's not as much of this out there as we actually think. I don't know that this deserves to be so low, but there's not a gigantic heavy hitter the way there is in each of these. There's like a true Chase Mythic in each of these. So something for you to also consider if you're contrarian and you're looking for something, a little left of center to buy that you think is got a lot of upside potential. Those are great choices. Speaking of upside and risk profiles, I just want to talk quickly about Commander Legends, and then I'll end this. There's a notion out there called asymmetrical and symmetrical risk. That sounds really boring, but I'll make it really exciting. Let me give you 4 examples of risk profiles. You've got a checking account. You've got a mystery item here at number 2. You've got buying stocks, and then you've got something really risky like buying on margin or options trading or something. When you buy when you put money into like a cash just savings account, there is a symmetrical risk profile there. What you put in is basically what you're going to get out. Let's ignore inflation for right now, right? I'm preserving my value entirely. Straight line. It's not going to go up. It's not going to go down. It just is what it is. The mystery item here, you put money in, it either stays flat or goes up. Now, wait a minute, that sounds too good to be true. I'll explain. The third item here, when you buy a stock, your asymmetrical risk is that you put your $100 in and then it goes to zero, but it only goes to zero. The most you can lose is what you put in. Yes, it could go up asymmetrically indefinitely, but what you're worried about is what you could lose. So if you could lose everything you put in, that's what you need to know. When you start talking about the riskiest form of investing, buying on margin, borrowing shares, selling options, you're going to start talking about being able to lose more than you put in. That's where this asymmetrical risk profile dips down below zero. You owe money. You not only lose everything you have, but you owe money. This is not the format or the platform to talk about that, but this mystery item here, number 2, where your money stays the same or gets better, to me, that's magic. If I pay $90 for a booster box, and that's my parlay, my segue here into Commander Legends. If I'm paying $90 for a booster box and it's got 24 draft packs in it that I can have fun with friends with and have an incredible night out for what, my $30 portion of that box or so, how am I losing money in that regard? This is why the little 5% portion of my entire savings plan in my life is devoted to alternatives that I have a lot of fun with. And that alternative of choice for me is Magic. Because I love it so much, I never feel like I'm losing money. If I'm spending way more money than I should on a bunch of Magic stuff that I don't like, then I've got the potential to do so. But like I always say, if you buy what you love and you're stuck with it at the end of the day because it's just not worth anything to anyone other than you, then you traded your $90 or so, let's say, for a box full of a game. You bought a game for $90. You're not losing anything. That's like harping on someone for buying lunch. It's like, well, I didn't need to buy lunch. I could have made it at home. I spent a little more for the enjoyment. I mean, that's about it. It wasn't an investment decision to go and buy myself lunch today. If anything, it was an investment in my overall just feeling of well-being. So the Commander Legends is a little beaten down at $88 a set box, $87 a draft box, and about $192 I think I saw. $198 I think actually for Commander Legend Baldur's Gate collector boxes. I wouldn't go after these at all right now. I like this set a lot. I've talked about that before. I really enjoy drafting with the draft. The set boosters, to tell you the truth, I'm a little unimpressed by. I'm not usually unimpressed by anything because, I love Magic, but there just doesn't feel like there's enough. By the time I'm done opening this box, I just don't feel like much has happened. 18 packs is really skinny. When I'm opening 12 packs of a collector box, that's a different story. But 18 packs of a set booster that really do feel a lot like this, there's some magic is really lost. No pun intended. So I'm okay. I'm okay with this set. Absolutely. Long term, I think it does perfectly fine. At these prices though, I think there's some room for the collector boosters to definitely go lower. I think there's room for the draft boxes and the set boxes to dip a little bit more. If you're unenthused by Commander Legends, this is the last thing I'll say, then pass on it for now. I do think it will be around for a while at these prices. Will it be around for 2 years at these prices? No. Wizards is not going to be printing this set much longer, but I think there's a glut of inventory out there that people will be dumping for the next, 6 months or so. I think you'll be able to buy these at the price that you want for the next at least 6 months. So if you want to go after what I think are far better deals over here, that's what I would do. If Commander Legends has you turned off, if you're a little spooked by what you see online and some of the opening videos and some of the anecdotes, including my own, then avoid Commander Legends for right now. You can circle back on it. You'll have plenty of time, I think, or at least time enough to make that decision. That is enough out of me. What are you buying? What are you out there, saving or letting go of? Are you selling anything at this point? I'd love to know in the comments below. I always love talking about this. This is kind of the meat and potatoes of what I like to do in Magic is buy sealed product and hold on to it. So there's been a lot of new subscribers lately. If you're new to the channel, welcome. I probably should have started with that, but I really appreciate everyone's support. Share with me in the comments below what you're buying, and until we see you again, take care.